AOC is starting to get nervous. AOC came out in front of this, don't forget. A couple of days ago, shortly after this whole incident happened with McIver and Menendez and the Newark mayor there in the Delancey Center ICE detention center, AOC came out and said this.
If anyone's breaking the law in this situation, it's not members of Congress, it's the Department of Homeland Security. It's people like Tom Homan and Secretary Kristi Noem. You lay a finger on them, we are going to have a problem.
Okay, we're going to have a problem, are we? Well, I guess they're sort of laying a finger, if you would, on one McIver because she's just been charged with assaulting a federal officer, which carries up to 7 years in prison and fines of $100,000 to $250,000. Now, I actually think that this is kind of normal in that, you know what, if you're doing something where you're allegedly body slamming another human being, in this case a federal officer, then yeah, you're going to have an issue. You are going to have an issue indeed. And you know what? That's exactly what just went down. She's all mad about Tom Homan, but listen, the reality is this. AOC, you can't break the law, even if you're a representative for the United States of America. This was put to the DHS press person the other day on Fox. My good friend David Asman asking the question. Listen to Trish's response.
If AOC goes down there and pulls the same kind of stunt that we've seen on Friday and today, are you going to arrest her as well?
If she trespasses and if she assaults law enforcement officers, as we saw earlier, I think that that's certainly on the table.
Yeah, of course it is, okay? Like, this isn't rocket science. And as for what you think about Homan, I'm sorry, Homan's just doing his job. He's been doing his job since, well, you were a baby.
First of all, you can't intimidate me. Come on, give me a break. You know, I was enforcing him. I was wearing a green uniform, Border Patrol agent, for 5 years before she was even born. I had more than 3 decades enforcing immigration law before she became a member of Congress. I worked for 6 presidents. I've seen policies. I've seen hundreds of policies. Some worked, some didn't. But you can't deny the success of the Trump administration when it comes to border security. Again, the most secure border in the history of this nation. And I said from day one, and she knows this, you can not support ICE. Shame on you. You can support sanctuary cities. Shame on you. But you can't cross the line. You can't knowingly impede ICE law enforcement officers. That is a felony. You can't harbor and conceal, knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from ICE. That is a felony. And you certainly can't commit criminal trespass. You know, and as far as New York, her district, this administration has done more to protect her district than she has. The number of criminal aliens we took off the streets of New York made her community much safer. She ought to be thanking the members of this administration, the men and women of ICE who protect this country and make her community safer. So, you know, it's politics over public safety. It's just ridiculous. She ought to love her community more than she hates Trump, because we're doing a lot to protect her community.
Well said. Of course, her community is actually seeing crime rise since she got there by some 70%, according to a new study out of the New York Post that was published just yesterday. I mean, I think it's important to remember you've got to love your community more than you hate Trump. But she thinks that she's doing the right thing, of course. She's saying, well, she's got to protect her constituents, which is why she's putting out little pamphlets like this. Yeah, this one, if you see ICE in public, make sure you verify them, you document them, you share information with everyone. She wants to make sure it's in Spanish as well. Well, you can't really do that because that is impeding.
Dispute, if that's the
forgive
right
me,
word,
that is impeding law enforcement. And so she's starting to get nervous. You saw a little clip. Do you want to see it? I know we saw it yesterday, but this is the NPR interview where she basically comes out and says, I want to know, am I in trouble for this? Because if I am, you know, all hell's going to break loose. She put out a letter to the DOJ, Pam Bondi, saying, am I going to get arrested too? Look, I think we go back to what Tricia McLaughlin said with the DHS. If you take it so far as to actually impede law enforcement, physically impede law enforcement, you're going to have problems. I think she ought to be arrested for all the literature she's putting out. I get that you have free speech, etc., but she is a member of Congress, and we do have laws. And this is one where the federal government has made a big stink out of the fact that they have the supremacy over state laws in this matter. So here she is pleading her case to NPR, are just about 8 weeks ago.
You had a recent dispute, if that's the right word, with Tom Homan, the president's Homeland Security czar, so-called. You held an online forum, a Know Your Rights forum, that he didn't like. What were you doing? What was your goal as you saw it?
My job is to educate and act as a liaison of critical information to my constituents. And I was informing all of my constituents of their constitutional protections, and in particular, their constitutional protections against illegal search and seizure in the United States.
Homan was upset, I suppose, because he felt that you were giving advice to people who were here illegally. Were you?
I was giving advice to all of my constituents. Yeah.
He said he was going to report you, or even that he did reach out to the Department of Justice. Have you heard from the Department of Justice?
I have not, and I intend on reaching out to the Department of Justice to inquire.
Really? What would your question be for the Department of Justice?
Well, there is a member of the Trump administration who is threatening and seeks to open an inquiry, and are you going to do it?
What would you learn?
The reporter's like, oh, and what does that get you? Well, it gets me some knowledge of whether or not they're actually going to come and arrest me or not. Remember, here's the letter. But here's the thing. So far, so good for AOC. I think she's quite nervous. There's a part of me that actually thinks she wants to get arrested. Like maybe she's a little bit jealous of Monica. La Monica. How can I forget? La Monica. Monica MacGyver. I think she's a little jealous because she hasn't said anything yet on Twitter other than what she said the other day. You know, you come after one, you're coming after all of us, basically. She was asked just yesterday whether or not she had heard on anything on her arrest, and she told that reporter after he said, hey, have they told you yet? Had they responded? And she said, no, they haven't responded. I've asked them. They have not responded. So they're keeping her in this guessing game. But all I'm going to say is, you know what? AOC, if you do something like what I'm about to show you, then yes, you would deserve arrest. And you're a moron if you think otherwise.
We should let viewers know there will likely be more arrests coming. We actually have body camera footage of some of these members of Congress assaulting our ICE enforcement officers, including body slamming a female ICE officer. So we will be showing that to viewers very shortly.
You say a video of members of Congress body slamming ICE
That's correct.
officials?
That's correct, sir. It's disgusting.
Okay, and so if you have that video, are you suggesting that members of Congress will be arrested who were there yesterday?
This is an ongoing investigation, and that is definitely on the table.
Who has the video?
ICE does, and we will be releasing that very shortly.
Okay. Let's talk about...
Unbelievable, right? By the way, the video that they have released, again, it's not apparently as violent as what they believe that they actually have. The video that we've already seen is pretty, aggressive stuff. If we go back to that for a moment. If you're listening on Spotify, we're looking at LaMonica. She's in the red. She's pushing herself up. You see that against the ICE agent there. She keeps pushing her body into that person, trying to break through. Like, why are you trying to do that? Why are you so aggressively trying to break through law enforcement just to break into this facility? It's really, frankly, pretty bizarre.
So having time and space to...
Really, really bizarre. And of course, she feels no remorse whatsoever. No remorse, as we just saw in the CNN clip earlier. So AOC is getting a little nervous. But, I don't know why you go and stick your neck out in front of this one. I don't think it's going to get you very far, in my estimation. I will say this. Tom Homan is coming out more and more, speaking out more and more. In fact, this morning said, listen, the self-deportation thing is a good thing. We need more people to be self-deporting. So watch him here.
Because if they don't, they're going to face serious consequences. What we started doing, we're enforcing two laws that we haven't enforced in a long time. Number one, failing to register. If you don't fail to register, after 90 days of being here, we're going to prosecute you criminally. Then we're going to deport you. And if you hinder your arrest, if you don't open the door, if you don't answer our questions, if you don't assist in travel documents to your home nation after being ordered deported by the immigration judge, then we're going to prosecute you for that, which is 8 U.S.C. 1253. So we'll prosecute you, we'll put you in prison. When you get out, we'll deport you. We're not playing games. There are going to be consequences. Leave on your own. If you leave on your own and work with us, you can get your affairs in order. It makes sense for them and their families. And leave yourself an opportunity to come back to this country as a visitor or as a student, or if you have a U.S. citizen child, they can petition for you as a parent of a U.S. citizen. There are other avenues to come to this country the right way. But if we have to formally deport you, we got to go find you, and we got to put you on a plane and formally deport you. There are consequences. There are bars from 5 years to 20 years. You can't come back. Some of the bars are forever. So leave on your own and give yourself some opportunity in the future to be part of the greatest country on earth.
Makes sense, right? In other words, if you don't self-deport and they find you, and it sounds like they will find you, then you can never come back. Or it's going to take 30 years. So why not actually do the right thing, work with law enforcement? I think they're giving out $1,000 bonuses. They just had the first plane shipping out yesterday. And then it's a win-win for everyone. Wow. Or else, right? Or else. And he means business. Believe me, Tom Homan means business. Again, we are fully independent. We like it, so please subscribe, share, like. I want to give a shout out to one of our great sponsors here, Patriot Mobile. I love these guys because suddenly my phone calls have stopped dropping because they give you 3 lines. Hey, you can get like 3 different carriers all for one. Not bad, right? You get to keep your cell phone, you get to keep your phone number, and you get to keep whatever's your most favorite line, plus you add in a few more. Go to patriotmobile.com/Trish. You get a free month so you can try it out. Call 972-PATRIOT, P-A-T-R-I. You know how to spell Patriot today. Go there and check this out. I'll tell you, where I live, it's been great because, this cell phone tower works over there. I used to actually carry 2 different cell phones, believe it or not. So these guys are terrific. Plus, they support our troops. They support our Constitution. They support the Trish Regan Show. How can you not like them? patriotmobile.com/Trish, T-R-I-S-H, my name, or call them. Call 972-PATRIOT and mention my name. You get the free month off. Not bad.